And good afternoon. This is Coach Big Pete of DeepDishFootball.com and the Weemy Report. And as you guys have requested, because I don't know why this segment's become popular with you guys, it is Games of the Week. Coach Big Pete going IHSA Week 3. Week 3. That's right. I'm talking about Week 3 in IHSA football. After this, 1/3 of the season is over. Unbelievable. So, let's get started and start talking about some of the big games happening for Week 3 football in the IHSA thing. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. My email is coachbigpetefp@gmail.com. If you have any questions, parents ask away, players ask away, send your tunnels, everything else, you let me know. Coach Big Pete, Deep Dish Football, absolutely free. And if you like my work, feel free to leave a tip via PayPal, as the PayPal link will be on the bottom of the video and probably, I believe, on the article, yes, too. Quick reminder as well, Wednesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. is Deep Dish Football Live on the Deep Dish Football Facebook page, and at 9 a.m. every Saturday is Breakfast with Coach Big Pete. And remember, at 10 a.m. after every game, you get to nominate at 10 a.m. every Saturday, you nominate for the next week's Deep Dish Football Game of the Week. All right, so let's get started for Week 3, IHSA Football, 2018, season 2018. Wow. All right, Lake Forest, Rockford Christian Life, 8-man football is a very interesting game, especially with Rockford Christian. They got a good little team going on there. Yeah, Mount Zion at Effingham, that's another interesting game. Stillman Valley at Winnebago. I'm a little bit interested in seeing what Stillman Valley has. Normal West versus Danville in the Big 12. That's an interesting game right there. Yeah. Karma White versus Edwards County, that's an interesting game. Cesar Valier at El Dorado is another good game. Fairfield's looking good this year. Fairfield's looking really good this year. The Donkeys. Freeburg at Breeze Central is an interesting game. Columbia at Salem is another good game. I'm really interested in the Salem team. Very interested in the Salem team. I think they can do something this year. I'm really interested in Salem. Tuscola versus Central A&M is a good game. It's a good game to look at. Central State 8. I'd say Chatham-Glenwood versus Springfield. That's a good game for the only reason because Chatham-Glenwood's got the big win over Sacred Heart Griffin last week. Let's see what they can do against Springfield. But they're on fire right now. Chatham-Glenwood, Coach Hay was the coach of the night last week. I really like this Glenwood Chatham team. I think they can do a lot of damage this season in their conference and when they get into the playoffs. And I really do think they can get into the playoffs. Westchester St. Joseph at Chicago St. Ignatius should be interesting, especially St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius is a very interesting team. Those group of defenders and linebackers. I think they're part of that Chicago Catholic Red that always gives us a surprise team every year. And I think St. Ignatius is going to be one of those teams. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be good in the playoffs as well. Let's go down, scroll down. As usual, Simeon versus Phillips, of course, is the big dog game. This is Simeon's proving point. This is a big game for Simeon. Simeon needs to prove something here. And I don't care about the score of the game. I care about how Simeon performs. This could be a great game for Simeon. And Phillips basically is the big dog, the Thanos of Avengers, the big dog of the Illinois, and they're just gonna smash everybody. They lost to Ohio. That should bring a little bit of fire in their belly. But Phillips is a great team to look at. Um, let's see what else we got. Trying to look. Hopefully, I did not get the wrong week. Hoping I did not get the wrong week. Lake Park at Batavia. Lake Park needs a proving. This is a big proving ground for Lake Park High School against Batavia. Good game. Wheaton North at St. Charles North. Good game. Geneva at Wheaton Warrenville South will be very interesting. How Wheaton Warrenville South responds to Geneva's offense. Glenbar North at St. Charles East is a good game. Duquesne Conference actually has some great games right now going on. Nazareth Academy versus Marion Central Catholic is a great game. This is a good challenge for Nazareth Academy. This is a really great challenge for Nazareth Academy and that defense. See basically how well they can read their keys and their patience on defense will be very key for Nazareth Academy. Bennett Academy, St. Patrick's a good game. Yeah. Dundee Crown at Jacobs is another good game. Still keep an eye on Dundee Crown. They're doing good this season so far. Huntley at Prairie Ridge is a huge game. Huge game. I wish I was at that game. That's a great game right there. Definitely a huge motivational thing for Huntley. Can they get over the hump and can they beat Prairie Ridge? That's a huge game. Huntley versus Prairie Ridge is definitely a huge game for week 3. Let's go down a little bit more. And Wilmington at Lyle is a huge game. That was the second game that was voted for the highest votes for. Lyle's looking great. They have a great group of athletes. Coach Parpet does a great job, and you got Coach Rintz of Wilmington. Wilmington had a tough loss against Coal City. This is a big game for Lyle. Huge game for Lyle. Where are you? Another big game. Coal City versus Herscher. That's a huge game. I think that's the deepest football game of the week. I think there's more of a proving point for Herscher. They're 2-0, and they're going into Coal City, who's 1-1. Lost to Morris the first game. Beat Wilmington the second game. This is a bigger game for Herscher. Coal City, I think they know what they are. They know who they are. And I think if Herscher gets the win, it's a big advance for them in the Interstate 8 small. So congratulations. Not congratulations, but that's going to be a game to look out for. Woodstock North at Richmond Burton's a good game. Burlington Central at Johnsburg, that's definitely a game I'm keeping an eye on for too. Burlington Central, they got to prove this is a huge stepping stone for game for them. I said it last week. I think this week, hopefully, they can do something with it. Red Hill versus Only, that's another good game to look out for. Casey Westfield at Newton, another good game. In the Little Illini, I'm looking really closely at Only. I'm looking closely at Newton. And shout out to the handle who has Only Football. Very strong promotions for Only high school football. You do a hell of a job. Big shout out to whoever owns that handle for the Only Football Twitter. You do a great job. Aurora Christian versus Aurora Central Catholic is a good game. I know people are like, ha ha ha. It's a good game. Aurora Central Catholic, they shocked some people the first 2 weeks. IC Wheaton Academy is a good game as well. Riverside Brookfield Kankakee Bishop Mac is a great game. Norridge Elmwood Park versus Ridgewood, great game. That's actually a really good game. Elmwood Park and Ridgewood. Keep an eye out for our Elmwood Park, Stransky, Ridgewood. Great coaching staff, good group of kids. It's going to be a great game. But I really do like Elmwood Park this season. Really do. They're going to shock a lot of people. Stransky, a quarterback, Lucio Martino. They just got a great group of athletes and a small group of linemen, but basically they'll fight you to the end of the whistle, and that's what you need. And Elmwood Park has got that. All right, Canton at Morden. I'm looking towards a Canton. Metamora, no. Pekin at Dunlap's definitely an interesting game, especially if Dunlap. Washington at Limestone. I want to see a little more about with Washington. Stevenson at Libertyville. I picked Libertyville as my big upset team. Not looking like it anymore, but it looks like a good game anyways. Lake Zurich at Zion Benton. Be a little bit interested in Zion Benton. See how Lake Zurich develops after that loss to Nazareth Academy last week. Harifa versus Ottawa Marquette's always a good game. Be very interested in that game. Walford Christian versus South Beloit. Wow, Walford Christian moved the conference. Surprised by that. All right. Forston versus Dakota is a huge game. I think Dakota can get the upset. I like Coach Free. I like his coaching style. I like what he does with the offense. I like what he does with the defense. I like what he does with those kids, especially. But Dakota, I think Dakota could pull the upset against Forston. I really like Dakota, and I like what Coach Free does with that team. All right. Grades like North and Antioch is a huge game. Antioch's on fire. Grays Lake had a few fumbles in the last two games. Good game, but Antioch looks great this season. Just looking down, scrolling down. Farmington versus Rushville is a good game. I would love to. That's a good game I want to take a look at, especially Farmington. Auburn at Williamsville, good game. Nah. New Berlin at North Max, another good game. Dwight at Seneca, another highly voted game for Deep Dish Football Game of the Week. Very interesting to see what Dwight can do. And Seneca, I believe Seneca's 2-0 if I'm not mistaken. I think they're 2-0 Seneca. Moments at Wasika, that's a good game. Yeah. Let's go down more, shall we? All right. Roxanne at Hillsborough. Oh, no. Richards, Evergreen Park. It's good. That could be a good game. Oaklawn at Summit. Big game for Oaklawn High School. Keep an eye out for Oaklawn High School, by the way. Juliet West at Plainfield South. That's a huge game. Plainfield Central at Plainfield East. Great game. Plainfield North at Oswego. That's a big game. Plainfield North lost to Plainfield Central last week. They need a win to stay in the race. Bradley Bourbonnais versus Lincoln Way West. Bradley Bourbonnais is 2-0. Lincoln Way West, I believe, is 1-1 if I'm not mistaken. Bradley Bourbonnais, if they get this win, I can officially say, yeah, it's this year. Because I thought Bradley Bourbonnais was going to be, I thought their year was going to be next year, but just hold up. Sandburg at Bolingbrook's a huge game. Sandburg's 2-0 if I'm not mistaken. As they go to Bolingbrook, could they pull the upset? Be interesting to see. Thornwood at Lincoln Way Central is an interesting game. Andrew at Lincoln Way East is also a very interesting game. East St. Louis at Edwardsville is one of the top games in the state of Illinois, no doubt about it. It's going to be it's going to be an interesting game, especially for Edwardsville. Alton at Collinsville, that's another game that you could definitely take a look at as well. Hall at Princeton's a good game in the Free Rivers, Mississippi Conference division. Sterling Newman versus Orion's a great game. That's one of the top games in the state. Keep an eye out for that game. Glenbard Self at Bartlett's a good game. Nope. Glenbard East, no. I'm just going down here. I do not know why you guys like this segment so much. It's like really popular with you guys. I have no idea why. No. OPRF at Hinsdale Central is a hell of a game. That's a great game. York at Lyons Township is an interesting game. Can Lyons Township get off of they're not having a great season so far. Can they start something there? That's going to be a great game to look at. Camp Point Central at Jacksonville Routes, definitely that's a huge game, especially Camp Point Central. They're looking good this year. Big shout out to Coach Dixon. Nope. Yeah. At least I got that right. Some of the games. Arcola at Cumberland's an interesting game. I like Cumberland's quarterback. Glenbard West Addison Trail is another good game. Just to look at it, especially for Glenbard West Point. Barrington at Maine South, huge game. Eltoff Catholic Breeze Matter Day is definitely another game to look at as well. Nope. Fisher Tri Valley is a good game as well. I always like the Fisher Bunnies. Another interesting point for this week is how many games are going to get postponed and all other stuff because of the weather and everything else. So much fun that we had last week. Geneseo at Quincy Notre Dame, so that's a huge game, actually. I really like that game. Quincy Notre Dame's got to do something this weekend. They have to do something. Naperville North and Naperville Central is a good game as well. Neuqua Valley versus Wabansie Valley, huge rivalry game. Great game. Fenwick at Brother Rice, great game. Palatine at Glenbrook South. Palatine's got to get fired. They have to get fired under their ass, basically. Quincy versus Belleville East, that's a good game as well. Rock Island at Peoria, good game. Rolling Meadows at Highland Park is definitely a huge game. Two teams that are rising fast and quick up north. Sycamore at Woodstock, interesting game. Westville at Central Clifton, I'm very interested in Clifton Central. St. Francis at Fenton. The only reason why is St. Francis. This would be a huge win for St. Francis if they could get it. Marion at Highland's that's a great game. Marion at Highland. Wow. That's a good game, actually. Hayworth at Gibson City would be interesting to see what Gibson City. I got to say this right now. The Central and Southern Illinois teams, you guys like a challenge. That's all I'm going to say. You guys like a challenge. My hat goes off to you. You guys really like a challenge. You guys don't care who it is. You'll play who. My hat's off to Central and Southern Illinois and some of those smaller teams as well. Whoever's doing the scheduling does a great job. Make sure you follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Week 3 as we get done. Remember, Deep Dish Football Live is every Wednesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Breakfast with Coach Big Pete every Saturday at 9 a.m. on the Facebook page. If you like my work, I will have put a little will put the link on for a donation for a tip if you like my work. This has been week 3 IHSA games of the week. As I scroll down on IHSA.org, your only place and best place for IHSA news and everything else. IHSA.org. And make sure you visit deepdishfootball.com. If you have any questions, my email is coachbigpete@gmail.com. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel and give the word of Deep Dish Football and Coach Big Pete. Thank you so much. Good luck to everyone. Week 3 IHSA Football.